Welcome everybody to Dragon Quest FM, where we talk about and obsess over Dragon Quest. I'm Austin,
I'm BJ.
and this week is our annual Dragon Quest FM Halloween special, where we talk about just Halloween games we play or that we like to play and things like that. But since we're still a Dragon Quest podcast, we also have some cool DQ goodies for you guys. So I think, as everybody knows, Dragon Quest III Remake is coming out very, very soon. Like
Like two
two
weeks from now?
2 weeks from the day we're recording this. Yeah,
Hmm.
so very, very close here. Um, I guess let's see. This episode would go up on like Halloween, so I guess it's like two
Yeah.
weeks from Halloween, if right. Yeah. So I think it's on Thursday. It's
Is
November
it on
14th.
Thursday? Okay.
So getting close there. Maybe it's that Friday. I guess it's the 14th. I don't know. This doesn't really matter. It does for sure come out the 14th. That's in like 2 weeks. So that
Two
the hype
weeks
is
ish.
the hype is real. We're excited for it. For the last little bit, I've been trying to share different Dragon Quest III related things um, from my collection over on like Blue Sky and Twitter, just to kind of share with people. My goal is to share like one thing every day
Mm.
between earlier this week when I started and when the game is out, the day that the game is out. So um, I did not count ahead of time to see if I have that many Dragon Quest III related things,
Oh
but
no.
I know I have a lot, and
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm gonna forget like a day or two, especially like this weekend's my birthday and stuff. So I'm sure time changes, so I'm sure
Y-
my brain is gonna be a little funky at different times. So if I miss a day, sorry, but I'm trying to do it every single day here. So with that in mind, and since we're doing video stuff now, just to start off the episode, I was gonna show off a couple of cool things from my Dragon Quest collection. Apologies to people listening to only audio, but if you're on like Spotify or YouTube or whatever, you get to enjoy this. If you're listening to audio only, then the next like 2.5 minutes may not be super
Mm.
fun for you.
But we're still gonna
But
talk about him.
we're still going to talk about them. Yeah. So the first one that I had to show off was the Famicom um,
You
Dragon
know, that
Quest
one
3 game, the
that one's
original
still
one,
one of my favorites. Like
and
looking at the
everything. Yeah.
box, I just love it.
Yeah, I really like these. I have all these complete in box. A couple of them are in like protective plastic because I turned
Mm.
into that guy.
Hmm.
Um, but I actually a hurricane was on its way and I got scared and I was like, I'm gonna put these in plastic just in case. But you can see kind of like some of the vocations and things like that on the back.
It's
So
awesome.
that's that one. Favorite art, I think, of maybe any Dragon Quest game. I love this art right here. Um, and then
And that's
this
the
one is
same art that it uses for the Switch version. That when you buy it, that's the same art that
mhm.
the thumbnail and everything uses. So that looks brand new to me, even though it is one of the oldest DQ
It's
games.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like 35-ish
Yeah,
years old at this point. Um, and then I have the Super Famicom one right here. It is in plastic, so this one might be reflecting a little bit.
it is,
Um,
but it's
th-
still.
this one's really good. I have a poster of this that my
Mhm.
brother-in-law got me for Christmas a couple of years back. You can see vocations and stuff like that on the back of it, and so it looks pretty cool. Um, Also to explain, I mean, boxed in a little TV um in today's video. We forgot to address that. It's because I said before we recorded this, it's because Dragon Quest 3 would have been played on a TV like this.
So
We
you
had
had to get your CRT going on.
Yeah, we had one for the first few years I was alive. And then for the longest time, my grandmother, this is the exact TV she had, the Nintendo, her like
Mhm.
NES was hooked up to it at her house. The only game she had was Mario Brothers and the Duck Hunt combo,
Yeah, yeah.
but it was plugged into this TV literally until after I was married and had kids and moved to Florida, like in 2016. She still had this TV and Nintendo plugged up, and then she moved to a smaller house, and my older cousin Wesley got the Nintendo and
Yeah.
everything, and I think the TV probably just got tossed out. But anyway,
It's pretty amazing though that it stayed hooked up with the NES and everything for that long.
yeah, it was in the
Because
basement when we were kids, and then it went into like a little den um, area
yeah,
after we all got older, and we would still sit there and play it when we got together as like
yeah.
family and stuff. And then last but not least, this is the Japanese Game Boy Color. which I don't like the artwork as much on this. I like the chibi style a lot,
Hmm.
and all the Japanese Game Boy Color games have this, and I think it's cool. But you can see the back of it right there. Before we hit record, I also got out the little manual to show everybody.
I've
Um,
always loved the Japanese
there's
Game
some
Boy
real
Color
cool.
boxes and everything that and the Game Boy boxes. You got me the Game Boy Color Monsters game in Japanese, and it's the only one I've got. But I really just love the way that it looks and feels.
There's lots of cute little chibi figures throughout the manual here, that show you things.
I
I don't
miss
know.
instruction manuals.
I know I do too. And there's stuff for like the items and weapons and armor and like the special key and
Yeah,
everything. I think that one's the
man,
not the magic key, the thief's key that you get to
I
start.
totally miss that kind of just automatic inclusion in a game. Those kind of manuals, like it sucks that
The
that's
more armor.
fallen aside.
Yeah. So anyway, there's that. Anyway, that's the DQ3 portion of today's episode. But like I mentioned beforehand, this is kind of our Halloween special too. Um, in previous years, we have carved pumpkins and done other cool things that would have been cool for video. So maybe we can do
Yeah.
that next year, with a little bit more planning. Um, did you guys carve pumpkins this year?
No, not yet. Like we
Not even
went,
Jennifer?
not even Jennifer. So
Oh
we've
wow.
watched Outrageous Pumpkins, the TV show that she absolutely loves, like
Oh, okay.
watching this stuff, those kind of things. But and she always gets ideas and figures things out on it. But no, this year because of some job stuff that she's been dealing with in terms of like interviews and going back and forth, she hasn't had time to really sit down and carve a pumpkin. She's been working on things, and so it just makes her it makes her sad to do it. But we went to the pumpkin patch, bought a couple of pumpkins, and that may be what she does tomorrow while either tonight or tomorrow while she's off. Like she took off Halloween because it's our wedding anniversary. So
Yeah.
she always does stuff like that. And it's supposed to be raining tomorrow night really bad here. So
Oh,
we don't
that
know if we're
stinks.
going to go to one of her friends' house to have where they have like a Halloween carnival thing because who knows if it's going to happen while it's raining. And
Yeah.
so we may be sitting at the house carving pumpkins tomorrow night. But yeah, not even her. It's the first time in a long time that she hasn't, but it's life happening. That's the reason she's not. It's not that she doesn't want to. It's that it's a lot of other stuff has been taking her attention and energy. So
Yeah, no, I get that. Um, yeah, we used to before we had kids, and when Grace and I were still dating, we would always carve pumpkins on Halloween night a lot of times.
yeah.
Like that would be a tradition. And as anybody who listened to last week's episode knows, I was headed to the pumpkin patch immediately
Hmm.
after recording that episode. Um, which
Did
was
you
a
guys
little
get a giant pumpkin?
it was a little disappointing. We got a pretty big one. We let the girls all pick out one. Naomi picked out like the biggest one there, and the twins picked out a more reasonable pumpkin.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it's one of those things where we we were disappointed. And I think we're spoiled because of like Tennessee pumpkin patches.
Oh yeah.
And there's a really good one here that's a little further out west where there's more like land and stuff that's
Hmm.
bigger. But we saw one that was closer to home and looked really impressive online. And then we got there and it was what I'm pretty sure was like a preschool at one point that they had like raised it, and
Oh,
then now
okay.
it was an empty lot but still had like old metal playground equipment like merry-go-rounds and a swing
Huh.
set on there for kids to play
Interesting.
on.
Yeah.
And they did have a bounce house, like a giant pumpkin, which was cool, but it was still just like a parking lot in the middle of the city, like right by the ocean. So it
Huh.
still felt very tropical and not
Yeah, that
very like
doesn't feel like a
pumpkin-y,
pumpkin
Halloweeny.
patch.
And so we were a little disappointed, but also, I mean, we live in Florida near the ocean, so it's like,
I mean, that's
it's
kind
hard to
of
avoid the tropical stuff. Yeah. But this is this is the first year actually in whatever year it was that me and Jennifer did the little Dragon Quest slime pumpkin
yeah.
carving
It's
competition.
I don't remember how many years ago that's been, like six,
It's
six
been
to
it,
eight.
it's
Yeah.
been a while. I couldn't remember if that was like season 1 or 2 of the podcast,
I
but
think it was season one, maybe.
whatever year that was, every year since then, we have carved a Dragon Quest themed pumpkin. I
Right.
have carved, let me rephrase. I have carved it poorly, every year for the last like however many years. And
Right.
this year we didn't. We kind of had kind of like with y'all, like life happened, and also we had those like two different hurricanes come across that kind of
That's
made it
an
hard to
excuse.
like.
Come on, that you can't like let that uproot your life and change things, Austin. God.
So like between that kind of stuff and just like having to keep an eye on that stuff, preparing for it, weather being kind of icky, we were slow getting to the pumpkin patch. So we just let the girls pick one out this year, and they're getting to the age where they want to carve it themselves, but
Right.
they still need help. And so it was like kind of Grace and I were like, okay, you know what? We're just gonna like help them carve it this year
Yeah.
because like in the last few years it had gotten harder because basically we would get home and I would just carve like four pumpkins.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so we did that and but yeah, like usually we did the slime with the witch's hat that first year, and I've
Yeah.
done like the ghost, the little orange
Hmm.
ghosty, from DQ before. These are let me back up for a second and say these were attempts. If you looked at pictures of these pumpkins, you may not know what they were, but it was like a ghost. We did a Dracky one year. And even this year, my kids were like, "Hey, are you gonna carve a slime?" And I was like, "No, not this year."
Oh.
So I just carved what they wanted, and they did much more like classical kind of
Right.
jack-o'-lanterns this year. But yeah, it was fun.
And we haven't done anything this year in terms of that, and it makes Jennifer really sad. So we went to the pumpkin patch ourselves, and we went, and she was wanting to get she. We've been married 15 years as of tomorrow, and
Wow.
so we uh, always get pumpkins. And so she's been a pumpkin carver long before she met me, and she's always got the biggest pumpkins that she could find. And generally, that means I think the biggest individual pumpkin she's ever gotten was like 86 or something pounds of just it. And no, we ended up buying 121 year. Anyway, always, every time we end up buying pumpkins, it's well over 100 pounds of pumpkins. We bring them
Hmm.
home. She carves, she makes some sort of display. And this year, with everything going on, she just decided I'm only going to get one or two pumpkins. I'm going to do this, and she stuck to it. She only got two pumpkins, but we got to the register and checked out, and it was only 35 pounds of pumpkins. And two pumpkins, and she's just like, I'm an embarrassment. I'm embarrassed to even buy this. She was like, who am I? What have I become? I never get out of here under 100 pounds of pumpkins. And so it's she was sad about that, but I'm glad that we still got it, that she's got them to record. I just realized that they're still in the car
Hmm.
from where we did that. Like I went to D&D last night, or Dragonbane last night. She went to trumpet practice or band practice, and I was like, we never got those out of the car, and so we'll have to get those out and be able to record them. I was looking to see if I could find the pumpkin slime uh, in my Google Photos to show the one that we did, but I can't find it. The pumpkin that we carved. Uh,
Yeah.
that's why I was looking off to the side while we were doing that and getting confused. But it's like I can't find the picture of the pumpkin.
So, uh, so in previous episodes for our Halloween special, we've covered like favorite like Halloweeny DQ moments,
Mm-hmm.
monsters, spooky games in general. But for today's episode, we decided to just talk about like games we like to play around Halloween. Um, and one of my favorite to play around this time that we've played already is actually the Jackbox Murder Trivia Party
Yeah,
game. It like because it's kind of spooky and it's a fun one. And Naomi, my oldest daughter, she um we still we still don't want her to have like an actual cell phone, but
right.
but Grace
Yeah,
got a new phone earlier in the year, and we've been keeping that charged, and it connects to the Wi-Fi, so she's able to play games on it.
yeah.
Um, and so that's been fun because I mean we have the like family friendly filter on or
Of
whatever, but
course, yeah,
but we've been playing a lot of Jackbox party games with her because if it's just me and Grace, it's not as fun with like two people. But when you
yeah.
throw in Naomi, to it all, and she doesn't like that one. She doesn't like the murder party because I think it's a little too like even for her like young mind, it's still a little too creepy.
I
But
mean,
we
I
were
get that. The
And so we pivoted. We started with that one, and we pivoted and started playing the Mario Party one
Oh
on
yeah,
Oh, there's the pumpkin
I
that
found
Jennifer
it.
carved,
Look, I
the
gotta
blue one.
move. Look, it's the
Yeah,
blue and Jennifer card. I
yeah,
found it, and I just put it as
that
my background.
that one looks so much better. Mine looks atrocious, the one that
It's
I carved that year.
that one's
You
very
can
big, but
tell what it is, mine, but it doesn't look that good. But yeah, so we pivoted to Mario Party, the Wii U Mario
yeah,
Party,
yeah.
because they have that whole like ghosty, like Halloween
Hmm.
haunted map, and we've been playing that one instead. And that's one that this would be like the third year I think in a row that it's like whenever Halloween season gets here, we're like, oh, you got to put up a Mario Party, whatever
Mm,
it is, 10 maybe,
yeah,
whatever the Wii U one is. We're like, oh yeah, we got to put that in and play it, and that kind of gets us in the mood for
right.
Halloween, and we play that one
Like that's
um,
awesome.
every year. Yeah. What about you? What's your kind of go-tos?
Right now I'm playing Cult of the Lamb. It was on sale on Switch, and I had some Nintendo Gold points, and I've been really enjoying it.
Hmm.
So a lot of years we'll end up playing through like Halloween levels of stuff. Like she found a game called Pumpkin Jack a few years ago that was really cool. This year we've actually really been enjoying going through the Astrobot Halloween type levels where they have all of
Oh
the
yeah.
ghosts and the gravestones and all the lights and everything.
Hmm.
We also do Luigi's Mansion, which is fun
Mm.
to go back to every Halloween,
Like
playing through.
first one or second or
Number
third?
three.
Third.
Three's the only one we've got. Like I
Oh.
looked to get number two this year, and when all I saw all the stuff on Nintendo was on sale, and it was $60 still. And I'm like, I'll pay the $8 for I'll pay the $8 for Cult of the Lamb instead. Which is a really fun Halloween game. I've really enjoyed it, even though I don't usually like roguelikes.
Hmm.
A lot of times we end up just going and doing kind of like you, finding individual games that have like levels or themes or something like that. I don't, I always want to play a horror game. I always want to play like Resident Evil or Silent Hill or something, and I never end up doing it. Like I never actually end up going through with it, even though I love them. And I'll play for a little bit on like I downloaded what is it Resident Evil Revelations 2 last year, I think, or something like
Mm,
that.
yeah.
Got through a bit of it and really enjoyed it, but never finished. The same with Resident Evil 6, 7, or
Seven. It was
7.
Biohazard, because that's the one I was playing that I was like, this game scared me too much. I'm a
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, it's good. Like, it's really good. And I want to play the new Silent Hill 2 remake, or is it the Silent Hill remake? I can't remember which one it is. It's really good regardless. And the game, the original game, I really loved it. And so I want to play the new one, and just it's one of them that again, like cost and timing and everything, I haven't been able to grab. But those are the kind of things I aspire to do every Halloween. But yeah, we
Yeah.
always we haven't done it this year, but every other year we've gone back and played Mario Kart. All of the spooky levels on it, the ghost house levels and stuff like that, we'll go through and play. And every year except this year, I just now remembered, dude. I just now remembered that Mario Kart Tour always has Halloween events, and that I
Oh.
haven't gone back and played any of the Mario Kart Tour stuff. It's always fun to go through when they have their Halloween tracks and everything on, and Halloween kart racers and characters that you can get.
Yeah, I
Uh,
forgot that game existed. That's the mobile one, right?
yeah, it's the mobile one. I
Yeah.
completely forgot until right
Over my head.
now that I had always done that. Like I started years ago and going back. I haven't downloaded Overwatch 2 because I haven't played Overwatch since Overwatch 2 came out. I've never
Hmm.
played Overwatch 2, and I always used to go and play through the Halloween events on it because I enjoyed them. And I'm not playing an MMO right now, so I don't have like a Halloween event on that. So I feel like this year I'm failing at Halloween more than other stuff because I just haven't gone
Oh,
back and done the like Halloween events in any game, like Final Fantasy 14 or
I just
anything.
realized, yeah, you saying that. I was like, I gotta go do All Saints Wake.
Yeah, like I've done
Like
nothing like that.
like after this, I gotta go do All Saints Wake. I think it runs until like November, but still, I just
Yeah, I think
realized that
so.
I haven't actually done that one yet. But I'm also not. I both love and hate the rewards this time around
Oh yeah.
because the rewards that you get are like super emo, like My Chemical Romance, like black with like
Oh
purple ties
yeah, yeah, I
and
saw that.
everything. Yeah, and so part of me is like, it's 2004, baby. But then the other part of me is like, I want something with like pumpkins on it.
It's true. Like, have you ever played Adventure Quest 3D? AQ3D by Ardix. Uh,
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so.
it's a really silly MMO. Like it is the silliest of any MMO, and it's very simple. It's got a mobile and computer version, and they have really fun Halloween events. And I keep getting the emails, and so I think I'm going to reinstall it on my computer. I think I actually have it installed on my phone,
Hmm.
and it's just a fun, silly, like WoW style MMO that's simplified for being multi-platform like that. But it's a lot of fun, and talking about this on top of getting the emails and then showing like the cosmetics that you can get, like dress like Beetlejuice, or I think it's black and white striped ghoul. I think is the is the name of it. Like I think I may have to go do that sometime today or this weekend. And go through maybe today. I'm as I'm working on stuff, keep it up in the background.
Yeah.
But
I was just thinking that if I was going to make like a Beetlejuice knockoff, I think I would
mhm.
be more creative with it. You could call it like roach milk.
That's that I think is your new band. That's our new band. We're
Roach
this
milk.
podcast has been rebranded to Roach Milk FM, and we'll
Oh,
never have anyone ever again listen.
yeah.
Um,
Gross.
but yeah, man, that sounds awesome. Like you say that about Final Fantasy 14, and then I all of a sudden talked myself into playing Adventure Quest 3D on here with my character Poop Sock Sock Poop.
Of course.
Who is my favorite name of any MMO character I've ever seen from Star Wars: The Old Republic. So if you were playing that at launch on launch day on don't remember on I can't remember what the server was that I played on, but if you were playing that with the name Poop Sock Sock Poop, I have taken your name because it is the best thing I've
He's
ever heard.
BJ
Uh,
stole your identity.
I did. I stole your identity, and now when I'm playing a game, it's Poop Sock or Poop Sock Sock Poop, first and last name. And it even got my nephew to realize that I did this because he asked me years ago when I named a character. He was like, "Is this one named Sock Poop too?" And I or Poop Sock too? And I'm like, "Yes, yes, it is." And so it's my character on Adventure Quest on EQ3D is Poop Sock Sock Poop.
So I know we're almost out of time. So before we go or anything, here's your nice little blurb to use as the like YouTube thumbnail, but there's my YouTuber face. So there you go. Now you have a thumbnail. That one's for free.
Oh,
Um,
well, thank
but
you. I
yeah,
appreciate that.
thank you guys for listening to this week's episode and happy Halloween,
Happy Halloween.
everybody. If you're listening to this, whether it's Spotify or YouTube, feel free to comment both of those places and let us know the kind of Halloween games you like to play around this time. If you're listening to this elsewhere, remember we're on Blue Sky and Twitter at Dragon Quest FM, so you can let us know there the kind of Halloween games you like to play. If you want to talk to me personally, you can check me out on those places at Dragon Quaston.
And I am on Twitter at BJK Games, Blue Sky, BJKGames.com, and Threads and Instagram at BJK.games because everyone takes the username that I want at different places. And we are also on Patreon at patreon.com/DragonQuestFM. If you'd like to give us any suggestions on what we should talk about, become a patron, support the podcast. All of that is at Patreon. So it's wonderful and it's been good talking to you. Happy Halloween, y'all.
Yeah, thanks everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.